Okay, so because this is just a quick example and we're going to go over this in a lot more detail later in the course, I'm only going to give you one example of this, but even after this one example, you should be able to understand the concept quite easily based on what you already know. A lot of this builds on each other, including the OTZ or optimal trading zone system. It builds off what you already know. So let's go ahead and dissect the chart we have right now. On this chart, don't let this confuse you. You already know how to do this. We had a push down, a pullback, a push down, a pullback. At this point, we then get a double bottom. The market comes down and touches this area, and eventually we consolidate, and we break and close above this level of structure. Now, normally we would want to see this level of structure broken to say that we're in an uptrend, but with the OTZ system, what we're looking for is a level of structure that's been tested multiple times. So what this did is we created this push above, but we also, after creating this push above, have an opportunity to go long with the OTZ system or to look for buy trades in this area because of the fact that this area was tested multiple times by price. So when looking for trend continuation, what we're looking for is the market to break above a resistance level, right? And then we're waiting on a pullback to that resistance level. Well, the only thing we do differently in the OTZ system is we look and see if that level has been tested multiple times. If it has, it qualifies as an OTZ or optimal trading zone, and that gives us a really high likelihood of seeing the market move out of this zone. So at this point, let's hit play and see what the market does. Push down, we end up in this zone. We're now expecting a push higher. This is an example of a counter trend level. If we're pushing higher, and this is a counter trend OTZ, you'll see why in just a second. If we're pushing higher, then what we want to do is go above our latest swing high and look left. When we do that, we see that we have an area of structure right here. So that is our basic counter trend level. But the next thing we have to do in order to classify it as an OTZ or optimal trading zone is look left and see if it's been tested multiple times by price. If the answer to that is yes, and we have an area that's been tested and used by price as support and resistance multiple times, then we classify that as a valid OTZ or optimal trading zone. So then, since this is an OTZ that's resistance, we'd be looking for counter trend sell trades from that area. Let's hit play, see what the market does. We get up to that area, and directly after we get to that area, we see a massive push down back into another OTZ and then pushing higher. This is one of the more advanced ways that I trade. Also one of the most accurate. And don't worry, you're going to learn the full system, including complete with entry reason, stops, and targets later in the course. But I did want to give you an introduction to this. Let's see if we can find one more. Here we go. So at this point, even after the OTZ was broken, what we can see is that it did get tested again multiple times. So for a trend continuation play, what are we looking for? Just with regular support and resistance, we're waiting on the market or price to break above a previous resistance level. At the point that we break above that previous resistance level right here, what do? We make a little zone out of price at that previous resistance level, something like this. And at this point, yeah, we have a cool resistance that should turn to support. That's not accurate enough for the OTZ system. What I want to see with the OTZ system is that this level has not only been tested once, but tested multiple times in the past by market participants, because the area between 1.5922 and 1.5978 has been tested multiple times by market participants and used as support and resistance multiple times by market participants. It gives us a really high likelihood of this level being used as support if tested. And if we hit play, you will see that that's exactly what has happened up to today's date. So I did want to give you a brief introduction to the OTZ system, optimal trading zones, give you an idea of how I spot these OTZs. It is something you will be learning about in depth later on in the course as we get into more of the strategy building side of this course. But now that you know and have a good handle on everything to do with support and resistance, let's go ahead and move on and talk about chart patterns, entry patterns, indicators, everything you're going to need in order to start building strategies. I'll see you guys in the next video.